The school year is back in full swing, and that means more cars on the road, more kids crossing streets, and a new rhythm we all have to adjust to. So whether you're a parent, a driver, or a student walking to school, there are simple things we can all do to keep each other safe. Today, we're talking with injury attorney Kellen Sinclair about the most common and overlooked risks near schools and what we can all do to avoid them. Since 1983, Stawicki, Anderson, and Sinclair has helped thousands of clients throughout Northern California with accident and injury claims. Good to have you on the show, Kellen.
Good to see you again.
Yes, such a timely topic. We've been focusing a lot on back to school, but one thing that's important to also cover is it's going to be a lot busier on the roads when it comes to traffic. What's the biggest safety reminder you have for drivers?
I would say there's actually two.
Yeah.
One would be speed, and the other one is limiting distractions. Speed, you want to make sure that you're traveling at a safe enough speed where you can see a pedestrian, react, and stop. And the same thing if a car abruptly stops in front of you, you can, stop your vehicle as well. And then again, the second is limiting the distractions as much as possible.
Yeah, and to talk a little bit more about distracted driving, because you think about it when you're on the freeway and how you're trying to avoid that, but how is that also a concern around schools more so?
I think typically people think of distractions as something like your cell phone or texting, but what you see with school zones and having kids in your car, it's like, did I bring my kids lunch? Did I bring the equipment for extracurricular activities? So as you're worried about those things, you want to make sure that you're not doing that while you're driving.
Yeah.
You want to stop, be safe, pull over, and then you can worry about the lunch and the shoulder pads.
That's such a good point, too, because sometimes even parents, if they got two kiddos in the back seat, maybe there's a little commotion. You kind of want to look back there. That's also a distraction. So like you said, keeping your eyes on the road or pulling over if you need to address something else. And drivers aren't the only ones who need to be careful. What advice do you have for parents, pedestrians, and even cyclists?
I would say something that's important right now are the e-bikes.
Yeah.
You might be seeing these around all over the place, and it's important to note that each kind of city and county has started having their own rules and regulations. But there's some universal things that everybody should be aware of. First, obviously, you need a helmet. You should try to stay in a bike lane and not the sidewalk. And you should be going with the flow of traffic and following all the safety rules. So if you see a red light, you should stop. If you see a stop sign, you need to stop. You are in the roadway and you got to be as safe as possible.
Yeah, could you explain more e-bikes? You mentioned like they should be in the bike lane, and it seems obvious, but I'll be walking and I'll see a bike lane on the sidewalk. Why is it even more key that e-bikes are staying in that bike lane?
It again has to go back to speed.
Yeah.
Because a person usually walks about 3 feet per second, where a bike can be going 10, 15, 20 miles per hour.
Yeah.
The only thing that should be on a sidewalk is a person. You shouldn't be on a regular bike, e-bike, or any of these type of scooters. It's a safety concern where people don't expect something that fast coming, and cars might not expect it as well.
Okay, helpful tips also coming to e-bikes. Are there places people often overlook when it comes to back to school accidents?
I think sometimes school parking lots are overlooked because typically you're not really driving at a high rate of speed.
Right.
But the concern are the little pedestrians. I've seen times where, you have a big family, you're helping one kid, and then another kid can dart in the roadway.
Right.
So, you're not really worried about a big car accident for your car. It's really just little pedestrians on the roadway.
Yeah, and wanting to keep them safe, like you mentioned, they can kind of zip around real fast running around, so we want to make sure everyone stays safe. And if someone is involved in an accident near a school, what would you say they should do first?
The most important thing is you want to make sure you're safe and your occupant's safe if you have one. If you have injuries, you want to call 911. If it's safe to do so, you want to take pictures of the scene or get witness statements. And if you are hurt, you want to seek medical attention because even the smallest injuries can become worse later on.
Yeah, so taking care of it right away, kind of paying attention to that. Kellen, what's one message you'd like viewers to remember as kids are heading back to school?
Well, it's an exciting time. I have a first grader and a fourth grader going back to school, but you want to try to get out early and be as safe as possible because people are doing new routes, new routines. There could be kids getting their driver's license for the first time over the summer, and they're not, as used to the road.
Yeah.
So you want to really take your time and just try to be as patient as possible, especially the first month back to school.
Yeah, having that patience, just kind of, even though not being it so much in a rush, having that time to do so. Well, Kellen, always a pleasure having you on, and thank you for making sure we're all ready and set to go for back to school season.
Right. Thank you.
Yes. All right. And to our viewers, every driver, parent, and student has a role to play in back to school road safety. For more information, visit Stowicki, Anderson, and Sinclair at sasinjurylaw.com.